and a big kick early from Barrett Thompson.
Yeah, showing off that well-rounded game that Barrett Thompson has. Great check of a kick there by Barrett Thompson, and then another nice kick. Very good leg work early.
Goehr coming forward. It's interesting, in talking to Barrett Thompson, never been knocked out, and he said he's been hit with a variety of things in his life and have been in several car wrecks and everything else. Says he's never been knocked out once, doesn't expect to be knocked out again here tonight, and almost leading with that chin out front.
Yeah, when you're tough and you're invincible, you look at a guy like Chuck Liddell, who never, ever got knocked out. And when it happens the first time, it does change you. But until then, you have what's called a granite chin. Rampage Jackson, another guy with a granite chin. So Barrett Thompson in good company there if he's not afraid to get knocked out by a big shot.
Goehr finds himself now with the back of Thompson, trying to work it into a more dominant position, landing strikes from the side, hearing it from the crowd, and trying to throw Thompson to the ground, and does. Powering through is Mike Goehr, a big shot to the body there, and that couldn't have felt good.
Yeah, and a knee right to the jaw as well.
Yeah, and that, again, amateur rules, no knees to the head of an opponent. Did catch him in the jaw. He will get time to recover. Mike Goehr will have to head to the neutral corner. And it looks like he may see a point deducted here. We'll see if the official ends up going to the judges. And he is bringing the fighters back to center. No point deducted from Mike Goehr there, but he did receive a warning. Throwing the big knee, and Barrett Thompson recovering, trying to throw the back kick to Mike Goehr, but Goehr not getting in that range. Knocks down Thompson with a big right hand, and he's continuing to throw punches, but Barrett Thompson eager to the task as he comes forward with a knee of his own. Both fighters landing big punches here and trading and smiling as they head back towards one another.
And they are feeding off of this crowd here in Medicine Hat. Mike Goehr, the hometown boy, but I can imagine that a few of those cheers might be for Barrett Thompson because he took 3 huge monster bombs and he kept on coming. And they're going right back to the game, throwing leg kicks.
Said he'd never been knocked out, proving he can take a punch or two there as he ate everything Mike Goehr could feed him and just kept coming forward.
Yeah, you look at Barrett Thompson, very tough, and he landed a few shots of his own. Like it was a fair exchange at one point. Mike Goehr getting a bit of a better of it at the end, but Barrett Thompson checking in and using those legs to his advantage.
Thompson lands a nice right hand as Goehr gets away from the exchange. Thompson working the kicks more effectively than Goehr to this point, but when Goehr gets inside, he's landing the bigger of the 2 strikes.
Yeah, well, Goehr's a big guy, so you can imagine that this is done. There's 2 more huge shots, and Barrett Thompson is hanging in there. He looks like no worse for wear, like you can't hurt me.
And Thompson trying the front kick, spinning over, big fist. Just shortly after the bell, not intended, was a follow through on the kick. Kicked over the head, came in with the spinning back fist. A bit of a reaction from the crowd. It happened, I'm going to say, a half second late, but ready for round number 2 between Mike Goehr in the black trunks out of the red corner. Presented by the Hard Knocks Fighting Championship.
Yeah, if every round as entertaining as that one, we'll be in for a great fight.
Again, going forward, driving forward, landing punches is Mike Goehr. Gamely coming right back at him, though. Barrett Thompson trying a throw, unable to do so, and tries to get him over to the cage. Again, a green belt in judo is Barrett Thompson. Mike Goehr secures the takedown, but Thompson ends up on top.
Yeah, immediately switching, a little bit of a tug on the shorts there. But there's certain points where a guy who's had a wrestling background and a judo background like Barrett Thompson, where you know you're about to get taken down. So what are you going to do when you land? And that's what Barrett Thompson did. He knew he was about to get taken down by Mike Goehr, so as soon as he was landing, he was already countering on the way down. Excellent technique there by Barrett Thompson.
Goehr trying to come over the top with right hands. Barrett Thompson answering them with stiff jabs. Both of these fighters landing punches and keep coming forward. You gotta love this kind of action here in a championship fight.
Now, obviously not Foreman Ali, but you can see maybe the strategy of Barrett Thompson. He's taking some big shots, but those hands are now dropping on Mike Goehr. This is a 5-round fight. There is so much time left in this fight. And if Barrett Thompson can go that whole way, Mike Goehr is already sucking wind.
Goehr is starting to breathe a little harder as he works towards it. Hard Knocks fans will have seen him fight in a fight before that got into the late rounds. The referee breaking them up to allow Barrett Thompson's mouthpiece to go back in. And looks like they're just going to give it a bit of a wash before they put it back in his mouth.
You never know what's on the mat, but you can hear everybody around us in the crowd saying, "Breathe, Mike, breathe," and trying to get some wind back into Mike Goehr. Again, a big guy, and it takes a lot of oxygen and to run those muscles.
1,000 coaches in the crowd for Mike Goehr advising him to breathe. Barrett Thompson gets his mouthpiece all rinsed up and comes out firing with a right hand. Goehr pacing back forward. Again, Thompson very confident in his chin, maybe content to take these punches if he thinks he can tire Goehr out.
Yeah, but you look at there's not the tiring out is not Mike Goehr's only thing going on. Barrett Thompson is also tiring out. Those kicks that used to be super fast are now coming in quite slow. These punches are all loopy. This one is going to be a very interesting finish.
Well, and we've seen Mike Goehr in one of these wars before where it took him to the end of the third round and he was wobbled. And speaking of wobbled, here's Mike Goehr chasing down Barrett Thompson, who seems to have been a little bit taken by one of the punches from Goehr as Goehr now works the takedown and has Thompson up against the cage.
With 20 seconds to go, this is a great thing for Mike Goehr because he's getting an opportunity. He's going to get an extra 20 seconds of rest here as he's not going to push this action. He's just going to try and use this 20 seconds to win the round, and that's a nice way to put an emphasis in the judges' minds.
Touching gloves at center. They both get set again in what has been a very entertaining exchange of punches from both fighters.
This one, although there are some elements of MMA in here, it looks more like a very, very trained street fight at this point because these guys are just pounding one another.
And that was a very stiff right hand and answered back by Goehr after Thompson landed the big one. And it looks like a low blow landed. Mike Goehr certainly wincing like it was. And we've got a quick timeout here as Mike Goehr will get a moment to recover. So both fighters suffering an illegal blow in this fight and getting a chance to recover. Of course, that also gives Barrett Thompson time to recover as well. Something that we saw in the first round with Mike Goehr getting to recover after the knee to the jaw.
That's right. Well, it looks like they're right back at it. I figured he'd take a bit more time to rest so that we could, have a more entertaining fight. They get a fresh rest for themselves.
Well, he was allowed 5 minutes, took about one of those before getting back at it. And both these fighters starting to look exhausted as they've put everything into their opponent's chins to this point except for a knockout blow.
And we are at round 3. I'm waiting for round 4 and 5. They're going to start swinging like Rocky and Apollo Creed at that point.
Tried the big left hand, did Barrett Thompson. The stiff jab missed, and a big right swings up and catches. Two big rights swinging up and catching Thompson, and he is not backing down as he keeps coming forward. I mean, he told me he couldn't be knocked out. I'm starting to believe it as he is eating huge punches from Mike Goehr and just keeps coming forward.
He's also delivering some big shots. He's countering these shots with some straight rights and straight lefts that aren't the big loopers, and they don't make Mike Goehr move back at all. But that head snaps back, and you can see the damage on Mike Goehr's face. And there's another quick shot that landed very accurately on Mike Goehr's face.
Now starting to build over Goehr's left eye. Thompson landing that jab effectively there a couple times, and the blood now coming from the forehead of Mike Goehr. And as we well know in MMA, when an opponent's face starts to bleed, that becomes the target. That's the place you want to hit him further to make it worse for him and make it harder for him to see.
Nice snap there. This is a big shot. The referee's going to watch, but it looks like a good intelligent defending by Barrett Thompson. Good snap on the leg kick on the way down. Barrett Thompson coming back up, and I'm just sitting here, and these guys, this is an entertaining fight.
Lands a big hand, does Barrett Thompson on the way out, getting a hand from the crowd. Mike Goehr standing with his hands in his proverbial belt loops, wondering what he's going to have to do to put Barrett Thompson down for good. We saw it with Todd Thompson here in Medicine Hat a few months ago. I thought he'd been knocked out on 3 separate occasions, and every single time he got right back up. Barrett Thompson proving the older brother's chin is just as tough.
Yeah, we're down to our about 10 seconds left in the round now, and these two guys are getting psyched for the next round, it looks. And again, some nice punches being landed. I'm thinking that all these rounds have gone to Mike Goehr so far, just because he's getting the bigger of the strikes. But 5 rounds in the championship fight, and wow, are these guys putting on a show. Well, these guys are just throwing bombs at each other and will not go down. This is a fight.
So again, championship rounds here, round number 4, 3-minute rounds for the amateurs, and again, no knees or elbows to the head of an opponent, as well as no twisting leg locks, although if this one goes to the ground, you can count me surprised.
Yeah, well, it might go to the ground. Mike Goehr's been successful on 2 takedowns, and Barrett Thompson just gets up.
It hasn't stayed on the ground very long, I guess is what I mean.
Yeah.
Enough time to secure a twisting leg lock.
Yeah, of course. You know, what's more to say? I think we should just shut up and let them fight.
Stiff kick there from Goehr as Thompson comes forward, lands some punches. That conditioning may come into a factor. Both of them throwing big strikes, a knee coming dangerously close to Barrett Thompson's face for the second time, and that could have cost Mike Goehr, as he's already had one. He's got to be careful he doesn't have another, or he may see a point deducted, which could be very valuable as this fight comes to a close.
And after each exchange that these guys have, they look at each other and give each other a
nod.
Good job, good job. We like this. And as commentators here, it's enjoyable to watch a fight like this, because both of these guys have no quit in them. Absolutely phenomenal tenacity, I guess is the best way to put it, is both these guys continue to fight.
Softer kicks coming from both as they both land a stiff jab that sends their opponent heading backwards.
Yeah, if we had one fighter come up to us and say, "Fight of the night," I think he might have lost at this point now.
Depending on how this one finishes, you may be right.
I don't
as
think
both these guys continue to throw punches, continue to throw kicks, and again, I mean, if you're Barrett Thompson's corner, you got to be telling me he's got to finish this fight, though, because he may be down 3 rounds at this point, despite having thrown some significant blows. Again, from an outsider's perspective, a big eyes and an ooh coming from Barrett Thompson after that punch. But again, I mean, he's eating huge right hands from an enormous man, and he is not flinching. Well, he's continuing to go forward.
That one hit him in the neck, and I think that was the big thing, is you just punched me in the neck. I'm coming back. And so Mike Goehr's response is, I'm just going to punch you really hard.
Barrett Thompson just looked with rage at Mike Goehr, saying, give me what you got, my chin can take it, and that has been accurate thus far. Now blood on the face of Barrett Thompson, blood pouring from the mouth of Mike Goehr. These two guys have everything and to go here, and they continue to fight with just 5 seconds now remaining in round number 4. We're going to go to a 5th and final round, and you couldn't ask for much more from your main event.
Barrett Thompson is in home run territory, in my opinion. You're going to look, he's going to throw. He doesn't appear to be ability to be knocked out, and Mike Goehr is trying to hold on, and these guys are just amazing fighters at this point.
Well, the crowd just chanting, Mike, Mike, Mike. Again, the hometown boy getting the love from the crowd, and Barrett Thompson getting the first left hand of the 5th round. Landed another stiff jab, but he may have to finish this fight if he wants to win those first 3 rounds. Despite his heavy blows of his own, he probably was on the wrong end of the judges' scorecards.
We talk about Barrett Thompson's chin. It's time to talk about Mike Goehr's chin. He's taken some huge shots, and he's asking him, come on, fight me. It just reminds me, again, of those Rocky movies at this point, because what else is there to go? These guys, both of them should have been knocked out about 6 times by now, if not more.
Yeah, both these guys displaying an absolute will to win as they continue fighting. Mike Goehr moving forward. Barrett Thompson counter-punching with like the best of them as he continues to land punches. That one a hammer fist to the back of Mike Goehr's ear. A big right hand and a spinning back fist in response. And just now a slapping backhand. Didn't bother spinning with that backhand, just threw it at Goehr. That one caught Thompson. He may have a granite chin. The ribs may be a different story as he took that one to the body and went off running.
Yeah, these two guys, you look at this crowd, if you talk about why MMA is so popular, you're looking at it right here. These two guys are just throwing at one another and showing charisma at the same time, and showing that all the exchanges between the two of them, the subtle exchanges, are what's making this fight that much more spectacular.
Both guys coming at it, 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining here in this main event of the evening. Title on the line. 185-pound amateur will go to one of these two men in less than a minute as they head towards the final seconds of our fifth and final round. Barrett Thompson coming forward, needing a right hand for his trouble as he keeps dancing around now, and Mike Goehr cuts him off.
Yeah, these two guys are going at it, now throwing kicks, but I think Barrett Thompson, he's down. I think he might just be tired. He continues to go back up again. Wow, Barrett Thompson slipped on the sweat, and who's to blame him? There's a ton of it there. These guys are just trading. 24 seconds remain now.
Mike Goehr looked confused when Barrett Thompson got up. He thought he might have done it, but confused and frustrated nevertheless. He has won this fight, or he may win this fight. The judges' scorecards, just 10 seconds to go in this fight as Mike Goehr and Barrett Thompson, one of them will be your 185-pound champion as these two continue to fight to the bell. What a finish for these two warriors as they go the full distance. What a fight. You cannot ask for more in your main event.